Puerto Rican kid, bald head, loves snakes, loves Blizzy, Sergio Chacon.
Yeah. What up, Pa?
Peace. Welcome to the DBS podcast. It's your boy Sergio Chacon, aka Blizzy Chacon. That shit whack. I mean, it's always gonna be Dirtbag Shit podcast. The DBS podcast.
Peace and welcome to the DBS podcast. This evening, we have a very special guest for you. You've seen her on Stephen Colbert not once, but 2 times over. She is one half of the In the Closet podcast, has her own podcast, Emma's Bunker. Please clap it up and welcome my very special friend and guest, Miss Emma Willmann.
Emma!
How you doing? Can you hear me okay?
Oh my God, you're a professional. You got
course.
the earphones, the mic. You don't play.
I got you. How's it going?
I'm doing fantastically well. How you feeling?
I'm good. I like that background.
It's nice, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, Emma, it wouldn't be the DBS podcast if, check this out. DBS pod, but where's the C?
Where is the C?
Yeah, I cut it out, and every now and then it just falls off because it's held up with like masking tape.
That's so funny. Good
Yeah.
for you.
So the actual artwork was done by Liz's son. Very
That's
talented.
great.
Yeah, he's very talented. But we didn't want to commit to dirtbag shit because there's a
Sure.
curse in that, or DBS. So we decided to leave it alone. And then I put these makeshift letters, but they always fall. So it's funny, like me,
Perfect.
Charlie, or Liz will be walking around barefoot with like a letter just stuck to her
See?
heel,
Right.
a little bit of cat hair on it.
It's on brand. It's got gum on it.
Yeah.
You want to see Dirtbag right now? I see if I still have it. I was just drinking sauerkraut. I opened a sauerkraut jar, and instead of eating it, I was like kind of thirsty, so I just started drinking the juice.
You're wild.
Crazy.
Yeah, you're a little wild. You're
I'm crazy.
Like you're like a little wild with shit like that. Put it like this, just so the audience knows.
Please.
Like our relationship, not only are we friends, via comedy, but we train together. I train
Yes,
you,
we do.
and I would say that's really bonded us together. And every time you show up to a session, you work your ass off, but you always show up with one sneaker untied.
Of course. There's always a thing.
Your hair
Problem.
is just like
All over the place. I start every session like, well, what had happened was, just also I'm so grateful we're doing that too, because after I saw you this morning, I just talked to my therapist, and I was like, I don't cry easily, but I was like crying, and I was like, I'm so glad I got to see Sergio this morning too, because it helped for a reset since I've been having a hard time. It helps offer like a reset too. But 100%. There's never not a situation.
But I love it. I love seeing you. Every time you're in town, I look forward to like reconnecting with you. But
Of course.
I need to paint this
Appreciate
picture.
it.
So you show up, and there's always one shoe untied.
Why is that?
You always got a credit card in one hand.
No. What's my problem? What do you think it
With
is?
your boxing gloves in a plastic bag.
Yeah. 100%.
And the
Peanut
text,
butter.
so you're not always late. You always just make it on time.
Right.
And you'll text me, and you always text waddling over. So now I get this visual of you crossing a bridge. Just
Waddling. Why? I wonder why I'm like that. Is it ADD, or maybe I'm just saying that to not take responsibility? Like, I've always been like that, and like I've never. I don't know if it's gotten better. It's kind of maintained.
listen. I don't think it's. I think it's harmless. Listen. I love the fact that you text waddling over, because then it kind of disarms me. Like, I'm like, that's adorable. Now I picture you like this waddling, and that's adorable to me. Now, if you say, I went to get a coffee or something, and then you're like 5 minutes late, that would be annoying. But you say waddling over.
True.
So you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. You act like it's a problem, but you know exactly what you're doing.
Maybe it was subconscious. Also, a waddle, it's like an angry waddle. It's a cute, maybe cute, but it's also, I'm like, fuck, shit, fuck. Things going everywhere. I'm gonna get a bag. The plastic trash bag needs to go. I need to get some kind of bag. I need to. The other day I worked out with Sergio, and I hadn't slept, and then I woke up because I couldn't fall asleep because I took my ADD pill too late, and then I woke up at like 4 a.m. I ate a pudding, and also I didn't tell you this. This is kind of gross too. I'll drink pickle juice sometimes. I don't have anything in my apartment, so I had pudding and then pickle juice. So when I got back after the workout, I was like, I shouldn't have pudding and pickle juice in my stomach when I go work out. I got to get it together.
Your relationship with food is dirtbag.
I know.
Nothing is safe around you. You're just fucking sauerkraut. The sauerkraut's like, no, we belong on top of hot dogs. No.
I like that was the line for you where you're like, you know, you're crazy. Like so many other, I could be like, I did this, I did that, I took too much, whatever it is. You're like, you drink sauerkraut without a fork, not on a hot dog. You know, you're weird like that. But it's
you enjoy eating with your hands too. I've noticed that.
I do.
I've never seen it in person, but via Instagram story feed.
Yep.
Lot of hands, like you're from the Philippines.
Yep, a lot of hands. You know, I always have done that, and I used to cover it up because it's like rude to do, I guess. But then when I started being in relationships, after a couple months, I would bring out the hands. It's because like I already got you. Just move the fork to
the best behavior, like
always for that first 3 to 6. You know, and you're really neat, right? You're very clean. No,
I'm pretty good, but. Yeah, I appreciate that, but I don't know if I'm really neat. I'm clean, but I don't know. I could be I get the apartment. There's my equipment is sometimes all over the place, but overall I'm good. I should have been more simple with that response, but I just got a lot of shit. So I'm not dirty, but I could be a little messy, I guess, at times.
Right.
What were you gonna say?
I would say I'm messy, but I also like it's because I think it is different if you just got a bunch of stuff and you kind of leave it around. You're like, oh, I don't quite have time to put it away. I almost purposefully don't feel comfortable if I do put it away. If I don't have I like having the chaos around me a little bit, which has been a problem because normally I'll be in relationships with people that most people don't like that. So with the food, it's the same thing. Like, I'll just want to eat with my hands. It just makes me feel more comfortable. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if I like the sensory of it or if I don't know. Maybe I got like hit in the head as a kid. I don't know.
Maybe just a little piggy.
Or maybe I'm just a little piggy. Maybe, and it gets me the food quicker because I don't have to have that delay.
Maybe it's just
the fork.
primitive.
Yeah. I got to get it quick.
Yeah. I won't eat with my hands. But I'll eat things off the floor. Know that.
Really?
Not the street asphalt, but my apartment.
Right. Yeah, I do that too. I would do that too. How long would you wait?
Oh no, it's just like I'm like a hawk, like woo, woo. I'll pick it up quick.
If there's cereal on the floor and I'm hungry, and I'll do a walk by, not clean it up, and then I would go by again a couple hours later and eat it like where I left it. But only if I'm by myself. I wouldn't do that if I'm with someone else because I don't want to disrespect someone else's space. And it's been a problem, like especially now in LA living with someone, like it's a regular problem, like that I'm so messy, but I'm trying to be clean. She just doesn't know how messy I normally am.
Yeah. I imagine you just when you don't want to be messy, you just store everything into a duffel bag and duffel bags like this big.
Yeah.
Just a charger wire hanging out, boxing glove, earphones.
He's seen it. Yes, total. It's like a bigger bag than what I would bring to you, but I'll put things in a bag. Or one time I had like a little corner, but then my corner got so messy that it became like a thing because it was like the corner was kind of like bad energy was coming out of the corner because it was just like shit piling up.
Well, me and Liz, so in our bedroom we have corners like that, and then it's like, oh, your pile is higher than mine.
Right.
So what I did, oh, you have a 2-foot pile. My pile is 1 foot. You're disgusting. You know, it's like,
you're putting some of your pile on her pile.
Yeah,
get off my pile.
So it's like I got a dresser and I put a snake tank on there. So I'm forced to not put. I'm forced to put everything in the drawers because I can no longer put it. Yeah,
that's smart.
So,
is there a snake in there?
Yeah, there's a snake in there.
Wow,
a milk snake.
damn. See, I
Yeah.
wouldn't have. I mean, we've got the dogs, and that their stuff is organized. But yeah, I guess if I got something that, because it's about like instituting things that almost trick yourself. Like you've got that snake tank. You basically are tricking yourself into doing that. You know what I'm saying? So I need to get stuff in place where it's like there's no other option but me just having to do that.
Right. Right. And that's a thing where we just gotta learn to let go too. There's a lot of stuff in our lives, Emma, that we don't need. Like clothes. Like I still hold on to clothes that I bought at a sporting goods store 15 years ago. I don't wear this shirt.
Me too.
GNS Sporting Goods, but it's nostalgic to me. There's a memory. You want to talk about sensory, like, I remember as a kid, I used to go to the sporting goods store and I bought my first bat. My mother took me there. But I don't wear the shirt anymore. Now I got 4 of these shirts and I don't wear them. Right. And it's a memory that I'm holding on to because I don't wear the shirt, Emma.
Right. I get, and I'll do that too, where I'll be like, well, maybe I'll picture some scenario where I'll be like, okay, well, maybe I'll want to wear this sometime because I've got certain items I just won't wear that don't fit, but I'll be like, but I don't know what situation I'll be in down the line. And I do that. There's a show, I didn't watch it, but it's the Maria Kondo. Did you see that? Where she it's like, she was like, you want to use everything you have. There has to be a place for everything that you've got. And that's a good way to start cleaning stuff out. Yeah. I haven't done that yet, but I've been thinking about it.
Yeah. I just think, emptying out that space and just keeping everything a lot more simple. If I go to a show, like if we're working, I'm usually wearing a black shirt and jeans. I got all these button downs. I got button downs. Like I go out like I'm single, like I spray cologne. I don't wear the button downs.
I have so many button downs that I've never been someone that even wears button downs ever. Not even like on a date. Never. And when I did Crazy X, they let us buy, which was so sometimes when you do a show, they do a fitting for your character. So I had all these designer clothes, but I wouldn't wear them in person. And they let me buy them for like 10% of what they bought them for. So I bought all these designer clothes. I've never worn any of them. A bunch of them are button downs. I have never worn them once, but I feel like I shouldn't throw them out because they got a good deal on them. So I'll do that too. If I get a good deal, I keep it. But I've got some stuff that I got a button down shirt with bananas on it. It's gotta go. It's so gross.
I'm sure it's a nice shirt and you can pull it off, whatever. But I'll tell you the reason why you don't wear that button down. And it's probably the same reason I don't wear my button down. I don't want to iron.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
I don't want the water in that little hole.
Right. There's a step.
Oh, yeah. I don't have like a real ironing board. I have an ironing board that's like this big, and I put like 2 high chairs together. So that's my table for the ironing board. I can picture that.
This is the ironing board I have too. I haven't even seen a full-size ironing board unless I'm in a hotel. But yeah, I got a little travel one, but I don't travel with it.
Because we've been in New York so long. Who has the space for a 6-foot long ironing board?
Right. See, that is in New York. That's so New York. People outside of New York would be like, that's such a common thing to have.
Yeah,
but
go to ironing. They have an iron closet. Oh, go in the iron closet.
Right. In New York, it'd be like, oh, my roommate lives in the ironing closet. We can't like that. That is valuable real estate.
Exactly.
I don't like how I look at them.
We got these nice clothes we don't want to wear because we don't want to fucking iron.
What would it take to make you get rid of them?
You know what? Liz, enough pressure from my wife. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. And then I'll donate them. And I always feel good. I don't want to just throw things out. When I donate, it's so funny. I was holding on to this pea coat that was given to me by an ex-girlfriend since 1995.
Oh, damn. It's good to have a pea coat, though. A pea coat's nice.
They're classic. It was
classic.
It was oversized because I got it in the 90s, so it was one size too big.
Right.
I mean, the stories with this pea coat, the amount of bags of cocaine that were in the pocket, the amount of ecstasy pills that were in the side pocket, the amount of weapons that were pulled out on that pea coat.
Yeah, that's good you got rid of that. Because that's bad energy memories, too.
Oh, yeah. There was just a lot of memories. So I had it in a box. And it hardened up because it was by heat. So when I pulled it out, I had like a little fold on it. It was like a square. Disgusting. There's a homeless guy who frequents my neighborhood. He's walking up and down, and he's always like the little diddy bop homeless guy. Hey,
yep.
And he's a nice guy. So Liz was like, you got to get rid of that thing. And I gave him the square piece of leather. It was like a square. And he like raveled it. He's like, oh, this thing is nice. It was like 65 degrees. He's wearing like a leather peacoat.
Oh, he must have loved it.
He loved it.
He
And it was
loved it.
huge on him.
Yeah.
The collar was like this big. Like the collar was so high, like Dracula. And he walked away. And I gave away the peacoat, feeling good.
Yeah, see, I haven't given away the clothes because it's like the steps of organization, but then Ashley she kind of orchestrated it for me, and then we gave away a bunch, and I did feel good too. Maybe I should just do that too, like go give it to. It's weird, like I haven't seen very many homeless people since I've been back in the city. I don't know if they got moved because of Corona, but that I would feel like maybe just go give a box of stuff and be like, do you here, this is. If you want it, it's all yours.
Yeah. I went to Goodwill, and I didn't realize it's so easy. Like,
don't you have to like fill out paperwork or something?
No,
really?
No, you don't. So you go there. There's a platform. You drop it off. Either that, or maybe I did it illegally. I don't know.
Because when I did it with her, that's what. If it was just that, maybe it is. When I did it with her, we had to fill out some paperwork. We had to like weigh something. Maybe it was the Red Cross. Wherever we did it, we had to do something. And I remember being like, "And this is why I hadn't done it before." But maybe I'll just go drop it off. What are they gonna,
Yeah, I went to one on 14th Street. I had my car double parked.
Yeah.
I ran in there and it said close items here. I put it there. Everyone was with their mask looking at me, and I left. And I was there. No one said, hold up. Maybe it's COVID. I did COVID style. Like no one cares about that shit anymore. Just leave it here.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that. I've got some stuff I don't have most of my clothes are in LA now, but I've got some stuff that I could get rid of. It's just, I mean, it's good to have that space like loosened up too. Yeah, and you have to go through, because before a show, you might be like, do that same mental game of, oh, maybe I'll wear a button down. Maybe I'll wear a button down. Maybe I'll wear a button. Then you decide on the t-shirt, cut that out. Get the rigmarole. The jig is up. Just wear the shirt.
Right. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. How do you feel being back in New York? You were in LA for most of this quarantine.
So I was in LA, and then we drove to Louisiana, and then I went back to LA, and then I flew into New York. I guess it was about 2 weeks ago. The first week, I felt great because I was by myself. So I was like, I'm by myself. I feel like I don't have to deal with anything. I can be as messy as I want. I had a talk with my therapist. I was like, I feel really good. And then I started to get overwhelmed about, okay, I'm leaving New York because I'm not re-signing my lease. And then I started feeling like I've worked so hard to get to be here, and now I'm headed out. And then I started doing shows at night here. So all of a sudden I had gone from a very simple, pretty much quarantine to doing stuff. And I started feeling so overwhelmed and not good. Like it's not New York, it's me. But like I was so overwhelmed that, like I was telling Sergio earlier, I hadn't drank in a year and a half. I drank last night, and I was just it was because I wasn't taking care of myself. I was so overwhelmed. And that's after 2 weeks in New York. So I feel good, but I also feel like,
yeah, we can't allow it to do any of it to penetrate through our health, right? I mean,
totally
easier said than done. And when you told me that, like, feelings of temptation and indulging on the other side quickly surfaced. I was telling you, I recently saw an ex-coke dealer. I haven't seen him in a long time. I seen him 5 times last week, Emma.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
what is
he's
he doing?
He's hanging out, like on the street bars, because everything is outdoors. So he's like at a Thai restaurant having a fucking margarita.
Do you wave to him?
What was that?
Do you wave to him?
I give him the head nod. And the other day, I had a conversation that was way too long. I was entertaining it a little bit, And he knows what's up. Like I haven't bought drugs from him for years. But when I used to see him shortly after I got clean, he used to see me and dance. He'd be like, "Oh, some money coming my way,"
This is so fucking funny. That I mean, to make a drug dealer dance, you are spending money.
I was taking of his phone bill. You know what I'm saying? Maybe his girlfriend's hat.
Think how happy you have to make someone to make them dance when they see you.
He would see me down the block and go like this. Woo!
Here it comes.
Yeah, so now I see him and he's very like serious because it's been so long. But now I'm seeing him and I'm just like, you know, every time, put it like this, every time I see him, I gotta take a shit. You know, I'm a little bit like, ooh.
Yeah, you get. See, I never got the one time I did coke, and I always fantasized about coke, but I never got into it. A couple times I tried to buy it, and like something intervened. Like I remember trying to buy it, and then I think I got like pulled over for speeding. Like different weird stuff intervened. But the one time I did it, I snorted it. I was really drunk, and I snorted it out because I go in, and then I remember being like, I know I'll get hooked on this, and I blew it out.
That's
the other line of coke blew off the table, and I was doing
was
it. Was
anybody with you?
Yes, there's these.
Oh, they must have been pissed.
They're so pissed. There's these Italian exchange students, and I was with my friend, and she was really pretty. And I say that because the coke blows off, and they're all like, "What the fuck?" And they were friends of hers, and she was like, "She's cool. She's drunk. Like, it's all good." And they were like, obviously.
Yeah.
And then I ended up leaving, and I was like, I almost did coke. I think I like went to church the next day because I'm so extreme. Like I was like, I have a coke problem now. But that was the one time I didn't do it other than that. But I know if I did coke, I just know my personality. Like, but the reason is too, it's so weird to think about like that things are going good. And then you just see him and it triggers that. And then you start playing that fantasy game and it's just bad. It's like, why would we want to do that? It's not good.
Right.
And yet.
So anytime you have a slip up, what do you do? So anytime you have the temptation to like drink or overindulge or slip up, what's the first thing you do? And what's like the how does it play out usually?
So it's changed.
Okay.
It used to be that if I slipped up, I'd kind of be off to the racetrack. So it used to be that I would be like out for like a really long time. Like I think because the first time I was sober like, man, like maybe a year and a half. And then I stopped going to meetings. I was back in New York, actually. So there's certain patterns. And I remember it actually really well. I had a really bad show. I was in LA. And they always tell you to not get too hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. I think that's it. Halt. I was in LA, had a bad show. My phone died. I had gone to a doctor for heartburn. In LA, he gave me, I think it was either Oxy or Percocet.
Oh, God.
For heartburn. And I was like, I don't know if I should have that. Like, I kind of have addiction stuff. And he was like, no, it'll help you relax. It's like a walk-in clinic in LA. So I didn't take it, but I had it in my car.
Yeah.
So I was driving around afterwards. I was like, I'm going to get something to eat instead of drinking. I went, I got something to eat, and then I just left, and I got a 6-pack, and I sat in a 7-Eleven parking lot. Drank some beers, Miller Lite, and then I just the rest of that year I was like drinking and it was fine, and then it got ramped up. So now going in and out, now it's like I've got more things in place, like exercising. I'll call my therapist. I'll reach out to a friend. Like I've got, instead of just like going off the racetracks and being like, this is it, I'm just gonna keep going in with this. I know I don't want to do that anymore.
Right.
So I'm gonna just try to. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get myself more organized too, because I came to New York and I didn't take any time to like really get it together. So I'm gonna try to be not so organized that I'm gonna show up with a gym bag at boxing, but organized enough that I'm not having a total breakdown because I'm overwhelmed. Right. So now I've got a system in place. But that's why when people say, when they're like, oh, I relapsed, like everything was a waste, or I did this bad habit, like I wasted time. I really don't see it like that. I really think it's like each time you go out, every time you're working on being healthy, then just gives you more time to have more tools to see that you don't want to be so unhealthy. Like we can't, it's they always say it's like progress, not perfection. I definitely say that a lot.
It's like building blocks, and it does
building
get easier,
blocks. Exactly. Right? Yes. Well said. 100%.
It's so interesting that you say that. Like, yeah, if there's a slip up or something, it never, it doesn't feel like, oh man, 2 years I'm gonna be out. It's like a slip up. You have your training to go to. You have the therapist. You have a good core idea of what you want, and then you move on from there.
But it's hard.
It is hard.
It's really hard because sometimes the slip up, the slip up wasn't when I drank the other night. The slip up was like 8 months back when I'm stopping going to doing anything healthy.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? That's the slip up.
They say that all the time, that the slip up happened months before.
Way
you kind
back.
of go into a pattern in your head.
Yes. And I had been getting, like resentful. And whenever I'm like resentful, it's nothing to do with the person or the thing. It has to do with me not working on myself. And I knew, because recently I would go on social media and I wouldn't be chill. Like I'd be like, I go on and I'd be like, fuck this, fuck that, fuck them, fuck that. That's not healthy.
Yeah.
So that like kind of stuff, I was so getting pissed on social media. One time I went on Twitter and I had to go outside my apartment because I knew if my girlfriend saw how worked up I was getting, she'd be like, what are you doing? I went outside on like the stoop so I could tweet and look as angry as I wanted to. Like looking at someone else's Twitter, and like that was making me so mad, like pacing around. And I knew she'd be like, why don't you stop doing what you're doing? But instead I was like, I'm going to go be secretive about it. So all that type of stuff, that's when I started crossing the line. You know what I mean?
Right. That's a very common thing too.
You're
not alone with feeling that way.
I know.
I physically have to remove myself. Like I have to delete certain things just so they don't play a role in my, because they chip away at you for whatever reason.
Does.
And
it chips away.
It extracts valuable energy from you. You're given a certain amount of energy a day. How you use that energy?
Yes.
And that's a waste of time. That plays into your insecurities. It's okay to be vulnerable, but if you it's almost like you antagonize yourself, and it really doesn't exist. It's like all in your head, really.
100%, because
It's
the truth
so weird,
is, it's so weird too, because you see yourself doing it and it feels 100% when you're in it. Like you're like, no, it's not this. It's that, this is the real deal and I'm this mad and I'm the victim. But really then you can be like, no, you're because it's your own thinking that's like tricking you. But it's not them, because like I remember one time I was working in this office at this job I could give 2 fucks about. And I remember getting worked up because I was selling educational travel. I don't even know what that is. This is why I got fired too.
It's like a gazebo. You don't know what it is, right?
Yeah, no idea. Right. Thank you. That's a callback to a joke. Thank you.
Yeah, I love that joke.
I appreciate that.
By the way, if you're just learning about Emma Willmann right now, check out her stand-up. Hilarious.
Thank you.
I've always found you like naturally funny.
I appreciate that.
I always enjoyed watching. Like seriously, people say that show all the time, but every time you want to stage, I've always like hung on the back and like admired your shit. But continue on.
Likewise, I appreciate that. I can picture you doing your joke with the finger.
No, I'm still doing it. Shut up.
Oh, good. Yeah, I'm still doing that. That one you wrote last month. I remember that one. Yeah, that because I still do that gazebo's a joke too. This girl who sold educational travel. I remember not giving a shit about that job, but I remember after a couple months, I was like, wait a minute. I'm doing more calls and I'm not making sales, and she's doing less and making more sales. What the? And then I started not liking her. And I remember talking to my friend about that, and they're like, Emma, I'm not even going to humor this because you don't even care about that. It's just someone to just focus on yourself. And I was like, that's so true. So that's when I learned. Like,
that's a good friend.
It's a good friend. And I was like, it has nothing to do with them. Like if it wasn't them, it'd be something else. So that's like, at least I'm like aware enough of that, because it all just is like what it, if it's like if I would immediately replace my anger towards that person towards someone else if I wasn't doing the work. Look, I have sauerkraut on me. Can you see it? I just waved my hand.
I thought that was a bracelet. I was like, what a delicate bracelet you have on there. It's so nice. I didn't know you were into jewelry, Emma.
That. Whew, even for me, that was fucking Jesus Christ.
No, it would have been super dirtbag if you do it.
And I ate it off.
Licked it off your wrist.
Oh.
I do that. Like I'll eat food off my clothes.
Absolutely.
Like, if I spill ice cream on my shirt, a normal human being would go to the bathroom,
sure,
get a napkin, soak it, maybe spray it so it doesn't stain. Not me. I'll remain in the position with my feet fully extended, legs crossed, watching New York 1 on mute, and just suck the ice cream.
You know what the irony is, though? Because it's like, to me, maybe it's because I'm kind of a dirtbag, but I would never think of you as you know what it is? It's the difference between being a transparent, like, dirtbag and then being a sketchy, shady.
Sketchy is really bad.
Exactly.
It's bad. When they hide it.
Yeah.
Hide shit.
Right. Because I feel like that's where the real threat is. Do you know what I mean?
People just hide.
Because all things considered, I mean, I would say now, like, you're definitely categorized as like an upstanding citizen. You know what I mean?
I appreciate that.
Like, it's like, you know what I mean? You're putting the work in, you're taking care of your responsibilities above and beyond. You know what I mean? So like, but then it's still being a dirtbag too. But it's like,
yeah, no, so dirtbag shit. I always thought it was funny to make fun of the hardships of which one participated in.
Yep.
Like negatively, and if it was self-indulgent, I would be like, there's funny idiosyncrasies to do with that.
Yeah.
So I felt the need to reveal it and expose it and really leave it open to show that, man, there's a little bit of dirtbag in all of us. We have to own it. I don't want it to define you, but I think we should at least make fun of it and understand, like, no one's fucking perfect, you know, so might as well make fun of it. So that's what our whole sentiment. And,
absolutely.
And now I'm going to start talking like a dude from the rap game. That's where the whole movement was transpired from. I hate when people call movements. They call like their hats or their t-shirts a movement.
Right,
no,
right.
Selling Hanes t-shirts where your shitty print on it is not a movement.
And it's just you.
It's just
You're
and
the
15
movement.
of your boys,
Right.
you just happen to know a guy who works at a barbershop.
Right.
His boys will buy your t-shirt. Not a movement.
I wonder where that movement goes after they've said that, because like they've got to be, it's like not going to pop off. So then they're just like a month later, like, we're doing a movement, but no one's paying any attention to it.
Like, people are very generous with how they represent themselves. Yeah, it's a movement.
Right.
We got
It's a
this
movement
popping.
Yeah, we're starting something over here. But you started it, you finished it, but there it is.
But there's people who are very literal about what they're saying. For example, I was on a train not too long ago, and there was just two guys staring at each other. Like it was a staring contest, mask and all. I'm like, good. And I guess because you're blocking off half of your face, inevitably you're gonna focus more on the eyes.
Sure.
Rather than looking at someone's mouth or whatever, you know. And one dude was like, "Fuck you looking at? Do the mask." And the guy was like, "Yo, if you want to get it cracking, I'm here all day, every day." Yo, the following day, I was on a train, and who do I see? The same guy who said, "I'm here every day, all day."
Right. You're like, right. True. He's here.
He's about that movement. Like, he is the movement of like, I'm not moving, I'm staying in the spot. This is like, I said.
Right. If I got in a staring contest in New York, I'd be so, I mean, that would be so scary to get into a stare. I would look away right away. I mean, and you know,
I feel like you always got something going on. I think you're always like,
oh yeah, I'll be like on my phone, like, oh fuck, what's this? What is that? Yeah, absolutely.
So, since you've been back in New York, do you feel unsafe, or it doesn't feel like the way it always was? Because on the news, all we hear is, "Oh, crime is up." Do you?
Right.
You see?
I'm glad you asked that. I'm really glad you asked that, because no. So I wish I had it near me. So I tried to order. So just from watching the news, I was like, I'm going to try to get some pepper spray. Can't get pepper spray in New York. So I got this thing that goes in my keychain. It looks like a butt plug, but it's not. But it's like this weird long thing. And it's supposed to be a weapon that you put between your knuckles and then like poke someone.
Yeah. And it like protrudes in between, out in between your fingers, right?
Yes. And I had it out on the couch. My girlfriend's does hair, and her friend came over to get her haircut, and her friend was looking at it really weird. And then I was like, "Oh, I know it looks like and the friend was like, "Butt plug," and I was like, "It's not actually. It's like a weapon. Yeah,
it's an illegal weapon.
It's an illegal weapon."
I bought it on eBay. It was
did.
I was only able to purchase it because they had it labeled as a paperweight, but it's not a butt plug. It's a weapon.
Right. She's like, all right. It was like $4. It's not even that sturdy. It wouldn't. The person would probably just be like, "Ow, what the fuck," and then attack me.
It would just annoy your attacker.
Yeah. They're just pissed off, so now they're going at me with more like gusto. Like, this bitch poked me on top of everything. I'd be like,
I gotta beat her ass with one eye because it's like she just fucking jabbed me.
Jabbed my eye. I got that, and that's how I thought it was gonna be. And I've never felt. The only time I felt unsafe in New York was when I lived in the East Village, and I lived pretty far out in Brooklyn. I lived in Harlem. All that it was totally the East Village. I remember around Alphabet City, there was these, like young, like kind of like hipster kids, but they were always a little bit geeked out. And I would feel uneasy around that. But I thought this time I was like, okay, like people are going to be, from what you see in the news, I don't know if I'm just missing it, but New York is nicer than I've ever seen it. It's calm. Yeah. It's clean. I mean, is this just what it's been like in the past 2 weeks? Like,
I think people, I think in certain areas and concentrated areas, there's the gun violence is going up. I believe that because
right.
I don't think they would say, oh, 15 people were shot this weekend if it didn't happen. I believe that's happening.
Sure.
As far as the everyday in my neighborhood and what I'm seeing, the only thing I would disagree with you, I feel like it's a little dirtier. And that's because
you
we
think?
have people. Yeah, I mean, specifically in my area. I think it's because there's a lot of street restaurants. People are hanging out in the bike lanes, drinking.
Right.
The garbage trucks are unable to go down the street because they got all these restaurants outside.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
The quality of life has been compromised. And there's a number of different reasons that factor in. I think the police are trying to make it a point like, oh, you want to talk about defunding us and all this? We're going to move. We're just going to waddle on over to this crime scene.
They do waddle. See, I was wondering about how the energy from the police was because that makes sense because I ran into some at a coffee shop and right away I felt like nervous and weird. And then I was kind of thinking, oh, they're probably thinking she hates me. And I didn't even know what. So I went in and like I saw the cop and right away I was like, oh, sorry. I'm not even near them. They're like, okay. Like, I didn't bump into them. I wasn't in their space. I just walked into the big old coffee shop. And like, oh, sorry. And then I was like, I look so fucking suspicious now. But I was wondering, I haven't seen that many cops. So I haven't, and I haven't been going all over. But
I think they're on ambient speed. They're just like, whatever. I think that the higher ups are telling them, anyone looks suspicious, don't respond to it. If you see two homeless people fighting, don't worry about it.
Right.
Your job is a little easier now.
Right.
You want to write a ticket here and there, go ahead. But don't respond to anything unless it's a really violent crime. And with that, the concoction of COVID, job loss, summertime.
Sure.
It just brews this energy. So crime has went up.
Right.
I don't believe the whole thing where it's like, oh, it's anarchy or whatever. Listen, I grew up in New York that was worse than this. And when people are like, oh my God, So
when you were growing up, you felt it more? It did feel
way
worse?
More
yeah.
blatant. And what I'm seeing now, I do see, small time criminals are a lot more blatant. I probably spoke about this in an episode or two ago. Like there's a guy who rides around his lowrider.
Yep.
He shows up with a fanny pack and he just throws drugs at the guys.
But they used to do that too. Don't you remember that? In the West Village, there would be those people.
Now it's like, I've never seen it on my block. Now
right.
Oh, you.
Right.
Oh, thank you.
Everybody gets one. Maybe not from a bike because that's like a throw. But in the West Village, there'd always be the people that'd be like, weed. I guess that's a little bit more subtle.
As even in my most dirtbag days under the influence, I never bought drugs from anybody like near Washington Square Park.
I did one time.
Once when I was 12 years old.
Oh.
And this guy was like, what you guys looking for? I remember he had 2 braids, like a split and 2 big, thick braids. And we were young. He was like 25 years old. And we were like 12, 13. And I was with my friend, White Boy Charlie. That's what we called it. He was the only white boy out the crew, red hair.
Right.
He was very naughty.
Mm.
And so we had like $8. We didn't even have enough for a dime bag. And we give the guy our money. He's like, here, run, the cops are coming. So we're like running like that. And it was like, he sold us oregano.
Oh, absolutely.
And we're like
absolutely.
We're like in front of a Jane's Exchange.
Right. Did you know it was oregano when you smoked it? Or did you think you got high?
No. It was like oregano. It was
right.
High. We were sober as can be.
Right. You could do like, because one time I smoked tea when I was in like 5th, 6th grade. My friend's older brother definitely gave us tea. But he told us, he's like, you guys can get high from tea. And so we were smoking and we were like.
Did he say with the squint? You guys get high from tea.
You guys get high from that tea. That tea. It's not chamomile. That's fucking caffeine in it. And we smoked it and we thought we were high, but I think we also smoked it out of an envelope top. And I think that the chemicals in that probably like hurt our head.
So silly.
But I did buy weed one time in Washington Square Park, and I felt like it was like there's a bunch of comedy clubs. If you go to Washington Square Park, there's all these comedy clubs. And this is years ago. I've been drinking, and I stepped out of a comedy club, and this guy was like, "Weed, weed, weed," and I didn't say anything. And then I was watching him walk away, and I was like, "Yes!" And then I kind of trotted after him. He was like, and I got a joint, and I remember smoking it on the street in Washington Square Park. And then I was like, I gotta never do that again.
It was bad?
It was bad, and it was so sketchy. Like, I mean, I called after him, so I like contributed to that, being like, yes, I want the drugs. And then he's like, fuck. But he sold it to me, and it was just, I remember thinking it didn't taste like quite right, which, you know, you deserve if you're getting
Yeah,
in that
they probably
situation.
sprayed it with something.
Absolutely.
You know
Totally.
what's crazy? You know, we're talking, you know, we're making fun of all this shit, but if you buy a bad package, it could cost you your life. Like, there's no doubt about that. That's a real thing. Some people
100%.
are so such
100%.
dirtbags that they'll mix up something at home just to make a quick $10. You don't know what their
Right.
battle is. You don't know how desperate they are to get their
Exactly.
drugs. And you know, it could be very dangerous. And luckily, I never had like a bad batch of anything, except one time I was doing a Soul gig in Atlantic City, and I was performing with a magician. And the magician,
Fucking brutal.
the magician was a dirtbag. He used to like
Yeah.
leave the animals in the car. I would go back to the car with like little caps of water, like, hey, you want?
You gotta do a joke about that if you don't have a joke about that.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
And he tells me this. He's smoking. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm giving your animals water. They look
Yeah.
behind. You had like a rabbit and two doves."
Right,
He's like,
right.
"Oh, don't worry about it. They die. I put them in dead stock. I write it off." Like dirtbag.
That's dirt bad.
So I'm in Atlantic City, and Atlantic City is grimy.
Yeah,
Like,
Atlantic City
super
is
dirtbag.
grimy.
Yeah, super seedy.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm in it. You know, I'm in it. You know, the show is done. And like, you know, once I got it in my head, I got it in my head. Like,
Yes.
it's 4 a.m.
Yes.
And this guy comes up to me, and he's a young black dude, and he's like, God, charming. He's like, "You having a good time playing, player?" And I'm like, "You know, I'm good, man, but you know, that shit make better." He's like, "Weed." He did the watches. I
Yeah.
was like, nah, I want. And he had real weed. He showed me the weed, and I saw it. Oh, this is green sticky icky.
Yeah.
And he's like, "I coke too." And I was like, "I thought it was coke." And he looked like he didn't want to sell me the coke. He looked like he liked me enough that he didn't want to get me like that.
And probably then also you were probably projecting onto him like there was like another chance for you to bow out too.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't want to sell me the coke too much. And he was
Hmm.
like, "Yo, the weed is fire." He's like, "I got coke too." And like, now I'm in the casino. Then I cross the street. And you cross the street, like, it's a totally different. I'm like by an alley. Literally, I was by an alleyway and a dumpster. It was like cops.
Yes.
Like zigzag. So now it's super dangerous. And I'm fucking drunk. So I like throw the money at him. Like, and then it wasn't enough. Like, he's counting it. He got the bag. It's like a big bag of gold. Like, and he's like this, counting the stuff. And he's like, "Yo, you short." I pay like $120. So then I do it, the bag of blow falls. And like, he's like, "Come on, dogs, come on. It's hot out here." I see like a cop car going by. I take it, I run. I said, "I got your number, yo. I hope this is," because he did give me his number.
Right.
I go upstairs and I'm doing it. And it was this nasty sneeze. As soon as I did it, I was like, my eyes started watering. And I was like, and it all burned. But I sat, like, I was so mad, but I couldn't, my sneeze was so ridiculous sounding.
Yeah.
It was like,
Right.
and it took me like 6 more for me to get the picture. I kept on.
You kept trying. Like if it was like you worked through it, it would get there. What do you think it
Yes.
was? Just like cut with something weird?
I don't know, but nothing happened. My nose felt like they put concrete in it.
Thank God nothing happened. Because think about that. Say you took 6 other. I mean, he sells it to you with the intention that you're gonna probably do all. Well, I guess it's just getting you to go away and get that bag.
Yeah, so
And then he
called
gives
him.
you
I
his
said,
fucking.
"Yo," I said, "Yo, this is like doesn't seem right." He's like, I got you. And then he's blocked the number. He said, "My bad, I got you." Like he said something like, "No, that's the good." And then he just didn't answer anymore. But it was his number. And then that was it.
And how sad would that be if you got like hurt from that? I mean, and it could have been anything. And it's like us putting ourselves in that situation 100%. It's like we can't be like, I was taken advantage of. I was just, I was minding my business trying to buy cocaine in a back alley in Atlantic City, and you won't believe it. It was bad.
Super dirtbag. And like those are ones, so I keep those times close
Yes.
to me. Like you got to remember, like you can't get too far removed from that. That's why I'm totally open with sharing it.
Yes.
And like anyone, like you listening to it, anyone else, because those stories, even though we make fun and everything, that's real shit. And like one of those could be the that was what, I don't know how many, 9, 10 years ago. That could have been a situation where like, oh, Serge, oh yeah, he died in an Atlantic City hotel.
100%. Oof. Fucking.
That's what way to go. Well, like with my joke book in my back pocket,
right.
A bunch of shitty jokes in chronological order. Lizard, finger.
Right. Right. This is a weird fucking suicide note that he wrote.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's his joke. And hearing other people talk about it is really helpful too, because it's also easier to give it, like, it's easier to see for someone else when they're doing something wrong than when you're like tricking yourself in your head. Like for me in my head, if I have it all planned out, like, well, I'll just drink again. I'll do this. It'll give me a nice buffer if I don't want to deal with something. But then when you hear someone else say it, like you're saying, okay, I saw the old drug dealer and I was talking to him, then it's very easy for me to be like, don't, all the stuff you're working for, you're going to lose it. Right. But then if it's just me doing it, then I'll be like, I won't shine the light on it. So it's always good to hear other people going through that, because then you can see it more clearly when it's someone else, at least for me, than if it's myself.
Absolutely, it's crystallized. And also, why we take the steps forward, like, and I'm kind of reversing back to like when you got a nice amount of clean time. It always comes down to something very simple. The pattern has been brewing, but like the night of, something made you feel uncomfortable. Like maybe, for example, because we do stand up, an uncomfortable set. Maybe you're just really fatigued. You really, sometimes all you need to do is go home and go to fucking sleep.
Go home, go to sleep, get something good to eat.
Yeah.
New day.
And you're like, thank God I didn't do that.
Yes, absolutely.
Because there's nothing like waking up and feeling fresh. Getting a
little
in,
Right. And you got to remember that, because if you're like not being healthy, you just don't feel that. I mean, obviously sometimes you wake up more refreshed than others, but there's just no way, if you're putting all that stuff in your body, that you're gonna. I remember hearing Mark Normand on a podcast saying, he was like giving advice to younger comics. Mark Normand's a comic, and he's like, it's not just about what happens that night. He's like, then the whole next day is a wash. And then for me, I'd be so depressed, then it would like make me feel like I'd be like looking forward to then drink. I'd be like, I'm not gonna do it. There'd be a couple hours where I'm like, I'm not gonna do it. And then I want to drink again that night.
Right. It's you have to look at. It's funny, when I had Mark on the podcast, he told me that, and I never thought of like Mark. I know he likes to drink, but he said, oh man, 3 years down the drain. I'm like, no way. I mean,
really?
Yeah. And he's like, oh yeah, like I guess it's a lot of drinking, and inevitably, I don't care who you are. We're not machines. We're human. Right. I mean, you wake up at 3 p.m. and then you feel all anxious.
I mean, it's unsustainable. It's crazy. It's crazy. Because also, like, you can't, then it's like, no job. I remember one time I was doing this show and I got cut from it. It was like one of those like talking head VH1 shows. And they had me film like 6 episodes, and then they cut me. And the reason they told me they cut me, they're like, oh, you weren't urban enough. And I was like, yeah. I mean, why did I have to do 6?
I'm from Maine.
Yeah. I was like, oh my God, like my LL Bean backpack on. I was like, I could have told you that like before we even started. But I always went in there hungover, and I was like, maybe I just don't want to even question whether it was because I was hungover, or if it was like, if it's just me, that's one thing. But if it's because I'm hungover, I want to at least know that that's not the reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I was always like, kind of like I'd have to be just chugging coffee to like get into a zone where I could do it.
Yeah.
Not urban enough.
Yeah. They did you a favor. They just, oh, you're not urban enough. And they were like, lay off the booze.
Yeah, exactly.
Who the fuck knows? But that's a violent thing we can do to ourselves, right?
Yep.
Kind of staying in the past, what if shit. Because that stuff is irrelevant now. It's about present.
It's true.
And
it's
now.
true. It's true.
But when we hang out, I always ask you, how was it growing up in Maine? And it's funny because I'm a New York City
it's
kid,
so different.
Born and raised, but I love Maine. Like,
That's
I used to go to Kennyport, Maine, and
beautiful.
go whale watching.
That is one of the most beautiful. I mean, Maine is just beautiful. I mean,
It's absolutely beautiful.
that's one of the most beautiful places too. Isn't that where like George Bush used to spend his summers?
Yeah, George Bush
Yeah.
and his whole team out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's definitely where it is. And I think his mom like lives there, like full time.
Yeah, I mean, I think she passed away recently, but
Oh.
definitely the Bushes were out there. I think
Yeah.
Texas and Maine, there was like their two go-to
Right,
places.
which is so I mean that they were in Maine is so random to me, but it's like it's so small and everybody knows everybody. People are pretty
Did you grow up in a real rural part of Maine?
so rural, much more rural than Kennebunk. I mean, Kennebunkport or that Kennebunkport is that's rural, but in the summer it's like a lot more crowded, which is my town too. But my town was 2,000 people, and then in the summer it was like 10,000 people. So it's small. One stoplight that blinked red, didn't even have the 3 different lights.
Yeah.
No different like. There was no Dunkin' Donuts. There's a Dunkin' Donuts now, but that was like a big deal when we got it in.
That's hilarious.
Isn't that crazy?
Did you start stand up out in Maine, or did you go like to like the name like Boston and
Boston, because I went to college. I think if I had gone from Maine to New York, there's no way I would have. Because I remember coming to New York, and I'd be around just walking through Times Square, and I couldn't. I would just stop and I'd be looking up because I'd be like, "This is so many people." And I couldn't process it. So I went from Maine to Boston, and then Boston to New York, and then New York back to Boston because I was in New York a couple years, and then I was like too much. And then I went back to New York.
Now I remember. I'm gonna stop you right there.
Yeah.
I remember that. You regrouped and you came back like a different person. I think
Best year of my life.
Yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm wrong, you did like you got sober, right?
Yes,
Like
yes.
You came back and you were like hyper focused. Like you got bang, bang, bang.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Your stand up was like boom. You got booked for a late show.
Yeah.
Boom. And like your energy and the way you were moving, it's like, like now, like it was just like bang, 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 bang. So what inspired that? You took some time off, right? You weren't feeling great.
That was the best. And my girlfriend always hates when I say this, but that was probably the best year of my life when I took it off. Because it was like I had been going to school and I was just running around like drink. I was like a lab monitor at the school. I'd have like a beer in my Chipotle like sippy cup monitoring the labs. So someone could be like peeing on the floor and I would just be like, I'd be like, not doing the job. And I burnt out. And I remember being like, how am I gonna do this? So I went back to, and I just was like, I can't. I don't even want to. I remember I fell asleep at the graduation.
Wait, so you were a lab monitor where exactly?
At my school. I was going to school. So when I first came to New York, I was going to grad school.
So you were a lab monitor in a school out in New York?
Yeah, it's called the New School.
And I was training you kind of a little bit back then. I didn't realize you had that much going on. I felt like Willmann Entertainment. I didn't realize you were in school.
I was in school.
You tell me that, it kind of refreshed my memory.
Yeah, and my graduation present was for my graduation present from my dad. I remember I got 10 sessions. I was like, I want to get a bunch of workout sessions.
Yes.
And then I had a breakdown, not because of the workout sessions. I had a breakdown because
my workouts broke you.
Yeah, brutal. I had to move. I had to get out of the country. I left New York because I just was like, I don't know how the hell. And looking back at that time, I don't know how I was drinking, doing Adderall, doing all that stuff. But when I went back to Boston, I got that job selling educational travel, saw a therapist, moved in with my mom, started dating. And that's when I stopped drinking. I really felt good. I felt like I wasn't doing the work that I wanted to do, but like creative wise. But that was a good regroup.
Yeah.
That was a good regroup. And then I went back to New York.
What inspired you to get a therapist? What did someone like tell you? Or did you just do it? Because I always feel like it's hard to sort that sort of thing on your own. Usually it's like, oh, why don't you see my guy? Or like, that's the way it was always done for me.
Yeah, and then there's that therapist that we both saw for a little bit that all the comics see. That wasn't a good fit for me.
Yeah.
No, that wasn't but what it was I remembered before I went to New York to go to school, I was like, I saw this, I went in and I had to get a thing because I would take my ADD pills. So I went to go see this woman. I remember I really liked her, but I was like, I'm moving to New York. So, and she was like, I think you shouldn't go to New York. Cause she was like, she was like, you seem like you like drink a lot. This is before I even moved to New York at all. And I was like, all right, go to New York. And then when I went back to Boston, I was like, I want to see that therapist. And I couldn't remember her name. So I was like, what? And then I kind of remembered the subway stop I got off at. So I Google Maps. I was like, I remember I had a green overhang. So I'm like, Google Maps near the subway. And I saw the green overhang. It's probably like 3 years later. And then I called that. And they were like, this is the therapy wellness group. And I was like, I went there one time. Is there any chance you have a record of Emma Willmann? And can you tell me who I saw? And they gave me the therapist's name. They're like, oh, yeah, you saw Maureen or whatever. Isn't that crazy?
That's awesome, though.
And so I called her. I was like, I don't know if you remember me. And she was like, oh, I remember you. And then I started going to see her. And she was so, because I've seen therapists that were like, all right. When I was a kid, my parents got divorced. I saw one in grad school. But this woman, she was so good. I still think about, I mean, this isn't an original line she said, but she said, compare and despair. Don't compare to other people. It leads to despair.
Yeah.
She was just good. That's why and then this
honestly,
time. Yeah.
Honestly, it's like, it really, sometimes it is that simple. You know, we like to complicate things. You know,
what a good line.
You know, so I won't, personally, I don't need to buy a Gary V book. Right? But I like Gary V.
I know, I kind of do too.
All I need is a little snippet. All I need is a 30-second shit. But I don't need
why
to go
is he
seminar.
He's so cranked out though? He stresses me out. Like, he looks like
that's what I'm saying. I can't take too much of that shit.
Yeah,
so,
he needs to drink some water or something.
Gary V, you know, I could do without the cursing. It doesn't bother me, but but all I need to listen is some little shit. All I need is little doses. So he said something. He's like, during the pause, we push. That's all I needed.
That's a good one.
Right?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I love that.
I'm like, yo, I'll see you in 6 months. Thank you.
Yep, totally. That's all
I needed. So, you know, it doesn't need to be, unless, depending where you're at, how your brain functions, you don't need to go on the book. You don't need to go to a seminar with a bunch of other nerds like this. Like, oh, what do you think? Like, whatever.
Yeah, just a little clip too, and it pierces through. Like,
little
it's
reminders.
So,
a little nudge, like, yo, wake up. This is where we at.
And it's catchy. In the pauses, you push.
Yeah. Fuck. So, like, you know, we're talking about this time. This is a special time for all of us. A lot of us are a little uncomfortable as well. Sure. But this is a special time. I think a lot of beautiful things. Revolutions are going to happen both politically, spiritually.
Yep.
And I think it needs to happen.
Totally, because it's there's no other instance where we would have had this forced to regroup. Like, even the reason New York bothered me so much this time coming in was because I had regrouped away from it. So the reason I was feeling so overwhelmed, and also feeling when I did stand-up, when I was up there afterwards, I was like, I did not feel authentic at all in my stand-up. I was like, I don't connect to what I'm talking about right now. And that was bothering me too. But I don't think I would have even noticed that if I hadn't taken that time away and was really in touch with myself. So then when I came back and something didn't feel right, I was like, this doesn't feel right. But I wasn't. When you're so in it, it becomes harder to tell what's what. You know what I mean?
Right. Because you're fucking just moving.
And New York's always moving too.
I definitely felt, and this is for me personally, when I was doing like a lot of stand-up, I didn't necessarily feel like the growth was happening quicker. I need to like step back a little bit and reevaluate things. Because then it became like a thing, like every night, I feel like I need to kill every night. It's like, I was kind of like lost what I want to really do.
Absolutely. And that is, I mean, I wonder about if people in other places have that, because especially like when you first get into clubs and like there's a couple years in there where it's like, you really feel, and there's a high of it too, like running high also, especially if you're like literally high, then it's a whole other level of running around. But the bigger picture is each one of those individual things doesn't have as much weight as we think it does. And something takes a year, 2 years, 3 years. Think how short an amount of time that is.
Yeah.
Like, it feels a long time when you're in it, but then looking back at all, you know, like we can take time off and things like that year I took off. No one even knew I was gone. They just thought I was doing other stuff. They'd be like, oh, you've been out in LA. And I had taken, and I was like, no, I stopped doing stand up for a year. But no, everyone's just thinking about themselves. They don't know what, you know what I mean? I could have been like, I was doing a movie. I bought an ice cream truck. I could have said anything.
Right.
Got a food truck. I think about wanting a food truck all the time. When I'm like, I'm quitting show business. I'm gonna get a food truck.
I can see you like you have like a Emma's
Eating the food.
tacos.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
No. And you're just like, what do you want? Lettuce?
Yeah, yeah. Hey, I'm like, this is how we do it over here.
It's authentic.
Yeah, there's a bite out of each taco. Like this isn't a fucking taco.
Oh man, do you think Anthony Joshua and Wilder are gonna fight soon? And you still like that fight?
Yes.
I remember me and you were debating about it.
Oh yeah.
Yo, you would be mad passive aggressive. Like you were sending like Instagram clips of like Wilder knocking people out, and then you would throw an emoji with it was like a short the blonde head emoji going.
Yep. Wait, you were right, because remember when Wilder was gonna fight, when he was fighting the Gypsy King, you called that the Gypsy King was. I thought Wilder was gonna win. I'm pretty sure you didn't. I thought you thought the other.
No. Okay, so don't give me too much credit. The first one, I thought the Gypsy King was going to win, and a lot of people say he won. That was considered a draw.
The draw, yeah.
The second one, I thought Wilder was going to win.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
So did I.
Yeah.
So did I.
And he got his ass handed to him.
He got his ass handed to him, and I was so surprised because all of a sudden, all the flaws in his fighting seemed like obvious. Like I was like, how did I not realize he looked? But what was so weird was, I mean, I've watched him box so much. He never seemed like everything seemed off. Like, was that just a bad fight for him, or was it that he highlighted his
we got to
skill?
give credit to how smart Tyson Fury fought.
Right.
Tyson Fury is considerably bigger. He's taller. He's longer. So he bullied his way in off the most important punch in boxing, the jab. If you look at that fight, he jabbed his way in, and then he used his size. He like bullied him.
Right.
He threw that right hand with bad intentions. He worked the head. He worked the body, and then he was defensively sound. The guy, Fury is a heavyweight moving around like a lightweight. He moving his head. He did all the right things.
But did Wilder not know he was going to do that? Like, couldn't he have anticipated that that's what his?
I just think he couldn't catch up. He was too far behind. He got hurt early. You know, Fury was a rough and tough customer that day.
Yes.
And it just threw Wilder off his game, and eventually he got stopped. What you'll see, with Wilder a lot of his fight is that he's a neutral. His power on the right hand is enough to pull the plug on any fly activity going on.
Absolutely.
He wasn't able to add that. So if you're unable to set that up, like that's the equalizer.
Right.
And Fury was like, "Nah, you're not touching me with that shit."
Right.
No.
But I used to think that when he was setting up his punch, I used to think his footwork was better, and then I guess he just was like doing.
He lacks fundamentals. I don't give him too much shit on that because it's worked for him this long.
Right.
You know, and I don't think he's gonna learn those fundamentals. Like that's something, you know, I don't think he's gonna learn. I think he relies heavily on his right hand. I don't think you could teach it. Possible? I don't think so though. The guy does everything very awkward. He's an awkward fighter. He crosses his legs.
Yeah.
He drops his hands. He's tough. And
I never noticed that before until that fight.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah. And they're gonna fight again. Like if Wilder got a lot of heart, I think I would tell
he's gonna fight him again.
They're gonna fight again. I think
that's
it's
a
December.
mistake. I think that's a big mistake.
I think he should take some time off. Maybe take a reboot fight.
Absolutely, because how is he gonna get that much better? I mean, or maybe he will. I don't know. Or maybe Tyson Fury will get destructive. I mean, there'll be a lot of that's the thing with these personalities too. Like Tyson Fury, I love him as a boxing champion, representing the sport that I hold close to my heart. You know why? Because he's an addict. You know why? Because he has mental illness. Sure does.
Because he pulled himself from the shit and became champion again.
Right.
You know, and that person isn't everybody, but he revealed it. And he's charismatic. You know, he talks shit, but he's gonna hug his opponent after.
Right.
You know, he's an exceptional. He's a gentleman the way he does.
But I still like Deontay Wilder more, and I follow him both on Instagram.
Too. I don't care too much for shit talking, but I like the fact that Deontay Wilder kind of shows that he's fighting for his daughter who's ill.
Yes, exactly. I love that too.
I love it all, and that's what makes boxing so special.
Right. You know, I agree.
It's a lonely thing, man. You know. Can you imagine the buildup? We talk about, you know, oh my God, the noise of trying to do these spots and someone talking to you in the green room. Imagine these guys. I mean, they're professionals and we're professionals at what we do, but it's just they're fighting, Emma, and they're going to different countries to to promote their fight. And that other guy who was 280 pounds, knocked out 30 guys before you, wants to pop your head off. And his fans are calling you a piece of shit. Like, that's a lot. You got to be so mentally strong.
And it's like it's all built up to that one fight and if you hype yourself up, then there's so much. Like, it'd be like if we were doing a show and we were only doing like 4 shows a year. And then before each show, I'd be like, I'm going to kill. I'm going to kill. I'm going to kill. And then if you get up and you do anything less than that, like, the fall is even greater. Do you think Deontay Wilder would beat Anthony Joshua?
I think Anthony Joshua wins.
Really?
I think and a lot of people don't agree. And I say a lot of my comic friends, like, I didn't think you agreed. And I was speaking to Mark Norman about it. He's like, oh, you're nuts. He says, Wilder all the way. Oh.
I wonder why that is that we like Wilder so much.
I think Joshua has a little more in his toolkit.
Yeah. See, I actually agree now.
After experiencing the loss against Andy Ruiz, I just think he has enough to do something very similar to what Fury does.
I agree with that.
They're 2 different fighters, but, Joshua has a lot in his toolbox.
Right. I agree with that. Now from seeing that other fight, I would also like put my money on that.
But that's what makes boxing so much fun. That it could be either way. It could go either way. Any of them could win. Because also on the back end. Absolute domination.
Right. And on the back end, maybe Wilder's doing some stuff we don't even know about. Because like when Andy Ruiz was training, he was saying he was training. So I was like, he's training. And then after the fact, when we go to the weigh-in, they go, oh, you're 80 pounds overweight. He goes, well, I had a sombrero on. And they're like, well, fuck.
He had a t-shirt on,
My t-shirt's 20 pounds. I had a shirt. I was wearing a shirt for him watching that fight.
I know.
Like, he made me cry because I was a fat kid too. So I'm like, oh, it's for every fat kid out there. And then he was so
you felt let down with his
yes, I did.
With the rematch, right?
Yes, I did.
Down. A lot of people felt let down.
And I thought I loved him from the interviews where I was like, oh, he's so sweet and with his mom. And then once he lost, it's that herd mentality too. Because I jumped right on being like, man, screw him, 1. And then 2, also I was like, maybe what I thought was sweet was maybe he's kind of slow. Like, I thought that he was like just like really like innocent, but then the more interviews of him I watched, I was like, is he kind of stupid actually?
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I think what happened was we were very hard. A lot of people were very hard on him after that loss. And it's because we saw like the opportunity that he grabbed and took from Joshua. And he wasn't willing to maintain that. And we saw a lack of discipline. And that was viewed from the way. And it's like, how can you do this? Like, and I think he just never had that much money, never had that much attention.
Right.
Who knows what else he was doing. And it was everything in abundance. And I think now that he's felt it, does he really want to box? We're going to see from this point on. His next fight is against a guy named Chris Arreola. Chris Arreola is another Mexican. That's a ridiculous last name, Arreola.
Yeah. What?
But
I didn't know that I didn't know he had another fight in the books.
Yeah, so Andy Ruiz is fighting Chris Arreola, and Arreola's on his way out. See, this is a dirtbag thing about boxing, is that Arreola is this veteran Mexican heavyweight, tough as nails.
Yeah.
But he's older, and he's been through a lot of wars. He doesn't need to be fighting anymore. A guy like Andy Ruiz could really hurt Arreola. So it's a stepping up fight. It's a welcome back fight for Ruiz and an exit fight for Arreola. Like, Arreola could get seriously hurt. He has a family. Like, I think at some point the boxing commission needs to step in and be like, we don't think it's a great fight for you. But it's a good fight for viewers who don't know any better because they both throw a lot of punches and they're going to be connecting. But for a guy like Arreola, it's an extremely dangerous fight. And I think at some point we need to boxing officials need to look at it and be like, this is dangerous. Someone's life could potentially be harmed here.
Yes.
Let's give Ruiz another fight. Another fight.
Yeah, because also what's the best case scenario? Well, so if he loses, he's kind of done. But I almost feel like the fight's going to be as fixed as it can be without being totally fixed. So he's going to win.
It's a one-sided fight.
It's a one-sided fight, but even if he wins, people that know about boxing aren't going to super respect that because they'll be like, yeah, you beat like this old guy who's going to quit anyway.
That's exactly right, Emma. That's what's wrong with boxing in a lot of ways.
Yeah, they got to cheat the numbers. That's why you see people when they're like, oh, they got 70-0, 70-0. I'm gonna be curious how the Ryan Garcia fight, because the next guy he's fighting seems pretty good.
Who do you know who is he fighting?
It's a guy named Luke Campbell.
Oh yeah, he is good.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah. So that's gonna be a fight.
Yeah, I love that division too. First of all, I kind of welcome these younger guys with open arms. It's different, right? Because they're like social media famous, you know, which is crossing over to mainstream. They're good-looking kids. They kind of
they are.
Yeah, they're good-looking kids, and it's like more than just like a pug-nosed boxer.
Right,
like,
right.
I live for Jesus Christ, you know,
right.
Which, by the way, like I respect any drive or momentum or motivation you get, but when you're like, oh Jesus Christ, like Jesus Christ didn't hold your feet while you did sit-ups.
Right.
Like give yourself some credit.
Right.
You know, I want to hear something more than I want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ and my team Al Heyman. Like, give me something different.
Yeah, mix it up a little bit. That Ryan Garcia is famous. He's got millions of followers on social media.
Kid. He's fast. He does these videos that like entertain people, and you know that's where we're at right now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, any form of entertainment, you need to just do a little bit more. I guess people want to see a personality with it.
Sure.
So, you know?
And he does videos with like Instagram celebrities too. Like he does them with the Logan Paul guys, like all these like YouTube. That's how I heard about Logan Paul. I got into YouTubers from boxers.
Right.
That's how I did it backwards.
Yeah. So this is the thing. I originally, and this is the old man in me, I was getting all upset. Oh, Logan Paul does better numbers boxing than so-and-so. But I'm like, this is the state of the game. I can bitch and moan about it all I want, but how about this? Boxers who are younger and could be friends with Logan Paul, they cross-promote each other.
Right.
Fuck it.
Right. And Logan Paul's fight against the guy KSI, that was like, all things considered, it
was a fun fight to watch, right?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was fun. If it was two boxers that didn't have that build up for those reasons, we probably would have been like, why are we seeing this? But because it was them, they sold it well, like literally in the hype. And then they were like really trying to box. Like
yeah. I mean, they really trained for it, you know. So my attitude towards that has changed a bit. Listen,
too.
If you if it promotes boxing, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? The
I
same
agree.
thing I feel with like boxing fitness class. Oh, that's not real. You know what? Maybe not everyone wants it. People just want to do a boxing fitness class. And the people who are interested, it's an opening for that. It's not one way of entering or getting involved with the sport. There's other ways. So rather than being, I'm conforming to the times that are changing.
Right.
You know?
Totally.
It's all pig-headed, like, this is the way it should be.
Right.
No, there's different avenues in which you can be introduced to it.
Right. And it's like, is it that way it should be because that just works best for you and that's what you're comfortable with? And is that the best thing? Like, why do you get to say what that is?
Yeah, and it goes, you know, we even look at it with stand-up now, right? Stand-up is pretty much, for Christ's sakes, tonight I'm doing a show at a diner, right? And I saw Mark Norman post, he was standing by a dumpster and like, I'm going to be at a diner and the laughs are going to be given to me with blinkers.
So you're doing I've never done one of those car shows. You're doing one of those?
I'm doing one of them. Do I want to do it? Absolutely not. But the fighter in me is like, I'm going to do it. Yeah. And I'm also like, I told the guy I would do it, but I don't, when I was first booked for it and it was canceled, I was like,
Then
he shot me.
Yeah.
Then he shot me like 6 dates.
Right. You know what?
I wanted to use the excuse I was sick. I was like, you can't use that excuse anymore.
You can't use that excuse, right? I thought about using that once too, and then I was like, I can't say that. You doing that show, that's like training with the altitude off, because doing a show in front of cars, so then when you get back to it, then how much time do you have to do?
12 to 15.
Right. Which, I mean, outside in front of cars, that is tough.
They're blinkers.
What if no one blinks?
No one blinks? It's like, it's like, how the fuck? You're like, you got...
No one just standing up there just looking at cars and they're looking back at you and they're like pretending they're gonna blink and then they're like not doing it.
Mark Norman had his videotape. So he's one of these guys like, so we talk about how you conform with the times, right? He's a stand-up comic, but this stand-up, just as you got your podcast.
Right.
You got the bunker with Emma. Is that
just me, and then I do my inside the closet one. The bunker one I started doing right when we locked down, and what's been good about that is it's been teaching me about like editing, and that's because I think when we very first, and then I was taking an acting class when we very first went to lockdown. I auditioned for one, didn't get into an acting school online, so you know what I did? Just closed my laptop It wasn't like I didn't have to go audition in person. And I was like, look, I did this TV show. I did this. And they were like, they're like, you didn't get into the class. I got demoted to like beginner.
Yeah.
So, but I was so happy that I didn't have to drive home. I was like, all I had to do was just close my laptop.
Yo, that shit is nice.
Sweet. That was nice. Imagine if I had to drive an hour, get rejected, drive back. It was like, he was just like, no, I was like, I totally understand. I agree. I'll work on it.
I love that part of this.
Yep. Sign out. Done and done.
Home with a lot of this shit.
Done and done. Yep.
But yeah, I mean, so we talk about like how things are changing. I mean, the form of entertainment, the way people receive comedy through the podcast, they love this shit.
Norman videotaping his. Did you see his video with the outdoor
He's
part?
packaging it in.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
The shit that like a lot of us, and including him, will complain about. He's making art of it.
Right.
Fucking great.
And he's a good example because he's someone that you look at as like, that's like a comic. So, and he's doing that. I mean, and it's because I used to be so like, oh, I'm not going to put this out there. And then it's like, who gives a fuck? Who cares? Or I used to be like, if I do it here and then someone sees me live, I can't do the same joke. Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Just fucking keep on pushing and
it
does
not matter. Because also we've seen the joke more than someone else has. So like, it's not like they've maybe seen it once or twice. It's not like they've seen it a million times. It's almost like was almost narcissistic of me to think that people like, well, everyone's seen me do Colbert, so they're not. So I can't do. Not as many people saw as I'm thinking.
Which is a dope accomplishment. Colbert is one of my favorites. How did you feel when you did that? Were you like super fucking nervous? You felt real good and ready for it?
You look
great. You had a great set.
Appreciate that. Well, the second time I looked good. The first time I was wearing red, white, and blue, and I don't know why anyone let me do that. Like
that's right, you did it twice. I think I only caught the first one.
That was when I was wearing
red, white, and blue.
The
second one because you're wearing red, white, and blue. It looks like you're part of the GNC.
The first one was the red, white, and blue one. So maybe the second one I look good. You must have seen that one. Second one I looked cool. You had the red, white. I felt like I was really intuitive. I felt like the first one. I definitely saw one of them. Yeah, I bet you saw the second one because that first one it was like maroon, blue, and white. But I was trying really hard to do that late night thing where I wear like a little suit jacket, which isn't how I dress.
Yeah.
So but the first time I felt good after it. The second time it felt so weird. The second time I don't know what exactly it was. The second time it was like, I think the first time I had so much like build up to it, and the first time I did it was live. No, it wasn't pre-recorded. It was live to tape, like live to air.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I thought they were all live.
No, normally they'll tape it, play it a couple nights later. So it's not. So this was like, or they'll do it the night before. The second time I did it,
different ball game.
Totally different, and it was live because the first time I went to tape it, Bruce Springsteen was taping, and he like went long. So I got bumped, which is fine. Like all good.
Yeah, it's the boss.
It's the boss. My mom was like, I already told everyone she was going to be on tonight, so I don't know. She was saying that to a PA, and I was like, we're fine. She's like, but you told her she was going to, and I was like.
No way, your mother.
She was there. The second time I went alone. When I went to redo it, that's the first time I went alone because my mom's saying it to a PA who like can't do anything anyway. They were just giving us the info. My mom's like, well, that seems kind of cruel. So that bumped, and she's making a deal out of it. And then when I went back, they're like, you can come back next Monday, but it'll be live. And I'm so grateful. I was so grateful, though, because I had already got to do the whole run through of getting to the venue, checking it out, walking on stage. So
it's not like you haven't done live before tape. You've done Access.
Right.
That was the only live show, really.
And also like you, I already thought they were live anyway. So this was like new. I was like, oh, I didn't even know that wasn't how it was going to be. So that first time it was just like, that was just exciting. It was a blessing. Yeah. It was. And I think I was drinking around then. I was drinking. The second time I wasn't drinking.
It's so nice. I mean, your mother must have been so proud. Like,
she was proud. She'll get proud of stuff. She doesn't get that proud of the stand-up. My dad gets really into it. Like my dad's like a funny guy. My mom's funny, but she's just like funny. Like I can't think of a way to say this, but like she's like not necessarily in on the joke per se. Like she's like a quirky character. Yeah. So like we watch her and be like, "Oh, that's hilarious," but she'd be like, "Why?"
I just said, I told everyone she was going to be on tonight, and then they moved her. So I told book club,
And like we'd be like, but she'd be like, whereas my dad is in on it. He's got a good, so he gets really into the comedy, but she doesn't. I did a thing on NPR once. She was definitely proud of that, but maybe she's proud in a way. She just doesn't really show it for stand-up stuff, which it is what it is.
Yeah.
Does your mom get into your comedy?
No. my mother's mad supportive.
Right.
But she'll tell me straight up. She's like, she likes political humor.
Yeah, so does my mom.
Yeah, my mother likes political humor. Like,
same.
I'm not, and I tell her, I said, I don't want you to come to the show. So she stopped coming to shows years ago.
Yep.
Although she is a fan of the podcast.
Shout outs to your mom.
Yeah, but sometimes people open up a little bit about their dirtbaggery,
sure,
whatever that may be. This show obviously doesn't have a misogynistic temperament at all.
Right.
But there was a show that we had, and I might have, and I'm sorry to, if I'm repeating myself, but I think it was with Gary Vita, I believe, and I mentioned something like, what are people doing during the pandemic? I mean, what are prostitutes doing for money now?
Yeah.
And that was like legit. And she was like, oh, prostitutes, you have to understand that some of them are trafficked in here. And she got real heavy. Like she called me on the phone. And I was like, oh no, as if like every other profession, I'm just curious. I mean,
what are they doing?
They go online and do an OnlyFans thing. Like, I was making fun, but it wasn't like attacking and making fun of, people who are trafficked.
Right.
And hitting.
Could you imagine?
Heavy, and it was like, I can't do. I told her, and it was over the phone. I said, I can't entertain too much of that because then I start scanning everything I say. I can't talk about 9/11, my birthday, because thousands of people died.
Right.
I can't talk about the pandemic because thousands of people died. And you can't talk about where it came from, China. Whatever. It's like now we're shrinking this to a very political correct,
And you also have to over contextualize. You're like, well, I'm going to say this, but what I really, with all full respect to this and that, and then all of a sudden it's like, no, you gotta. Part of comedy is you gotta trying to like cut down on words. So if you have to buffer everything, then that gets tricky too.
Right. So it's my mom, and I have the highest respect for her. So what happens is that I do overthink it after a while.
Yeah.
Not on the show, but I'm thinking to myself. I go to my wife, and I'm like, no, I know what my core feeling upon talking about it was, and that's what it is. It's nothing more than that, right? So
good for your mom. Too. Good for her for like.
Yeah. No, my mother always like.
Because someone needs to do it.
Yeah.
Someone needs to be that.
Yeah. My mother would check me a couple of times with certain things, and I'm like, yo.
Me. My mom does that. Like, if my mom, if the election doesn't go, if Trump wins again, I'll be worried about her. I mean, she's like so progressive like that. Like, she's always on me about voting and recycling because I'm not good about that. I'm not good about it. Yeah. I didn't know.
Same exact.
I'm not good.
I just got emails like, oh, this is how you register to vote. And I've
yes,
been voting,
me too.
But it's like,
I never put, and I know that isn't right of me to do. I know she's right, but like even with recycling, like, if I wanted to, if I was good about my recycling, there would be nothing that would make her more proud. Because she even said once, and she's right, but she's like, what's your, this is something you can do and you're just not doing. You just don't care about the world. How could you have to have a real look at yourself and think, how can you be so selfish? You can't do the basic thing of just recycling. I bought a recycling decoy one time. I bought a recycling thing because I knew she was visiting me. I set it up and she comes into the apartment and she like runs her finger over it. And then she looks at it and she's like, this hasn't been used. And I was like, fuck. Because she probably asked me, how long do you have it? And I was like, a couple months. And she was like, you went out of your way to buy this.
She knew what you were doing.
She knew what I was doing. It's like in the package. I fucking never used it. But I set it out in my kitchen. And it was like a 6th floor walk up is when I was in Harlem. And she was like, so you took the time to buy this, bring it upstairs, all these things instead of just recycling every now and then. And what do I say to that? I was like, yeah, like you know?
Yeah, yeah. And my mother shows up to my apartment, and if I got the 2-foot pile I was telling you, like
Yep.
she just pops up. I'm like hiding behind the pile.
Right,
Hey,
right,
how
right.
you doing?
Right,
Hi,
right,
Mom.
right.
She's like, oh, she'll scoff at me. Oh, I don't know how you live like this. Oh,
Yes. Oh, the amount of times I've heard that.
I just don't. How do you live like this? Why are you like that?
yeah.
Like, you know, she's proud of you. I bet she's so proud of you for
Yeah,
like, all
no,
the
me and my
stuff you're
mother, we're
doing now.
tight. We're really,
Yeah.
we're really tight. She's, you know, and it's good to have, you know, it's good to have that. You know, I really do appreciate her. But she's the same way. If Trump wins,
Woo!
I think my mother's gonna be in the streets with an AR-15.
What do you think is going to happen? Because like I 100% the same thing. Like, because she's my mom's like mad about it. Like it's like,
and that's it. You know, I try to. It's interesting. Your mom, my mom are very similar with how they're internalizing.
So internalized.
I said, Mom, you know, we have a short amount of time here, and we could contribute in different ways. And the way I contribute, when all the stuff started happening in the streets, and we were like, the pause was at its height, and you know, George Floyd, and I took to the streets. I protested with the people. I felt good about putting the time. It's where my heart was at. And then I said, I can't sustain being online, receiving this information, looking at every police brutality, death, deciphering what's going on. It was just too much. It was overwhelming. It was affecting me as an individual. So I said, okay, I got to find balance. So I would do certain things that would contribute to it. And I would do it a little more quietly because although what I was doing was activism, like that was being an activist in those regards, there's other things I want to do with my life, with my family.
Yeah, you got to also live and be a person, which is a privilege to do, but otherwise you're not going to be able to give anything. Yeah,
so I'm trying to work it out in my life where I contribute. Like it's definitely got my attention, and it always has. But I'm reinvigorated. I'm re-inspired by it, and so what I do is I'll read a book on social justice just to get a better understanding of it from both sides. But I do it a little more quietly because I just don't know enough. I know what I know. If the debate presents itself, I can do the best of my ability. But I'm not going to go on social media and do it.
Oh, hell no.
You're not going to find me in these skirmishes on my phone like this. No. I'm not doing that because that's unhealthy.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
And you're not going to change someone's mind. That's just not the format for things to like be reasonable.
Yeah. And also, you know, if I know somebody whose ideology contradicts the way I feel, I'm not going to engage in that battle. I'm going to appreciate them for the energy they give me every day. Like my relationship with them doesn't include that. Right. If the topic were to come up, then we discuss it. But I practice patience. Yes. Listening and just an overall easy aura because I don't want to feel frazzled and be a reactionary because I've been there many times over and that shit doesn't feel good for me.
No, it doesn't.
And for the other party. And that's exactly what we're experiencing as a whole in this country.
Totally. Yeah, 100%. Everyone is, they're not listening or responding at a 1 to 3 level. It's like everybody's at a level 13. So instead of ever listening, you're just responding before you even take in what you're responding to.
Yeah. And I have so my attitude is like, I'm giving it some attention, but I'm giving a lot. I'll tell you what I'm giving a lot of attention to. The people I love. My guests, my family, my animals, my boxing, stand-up, my creativity. That deserves the real energy. And whatever is positive out of that can be shared with people, that's my contribution. And I'm still learning as I go along. But I'm not going to become fixated on bad things because that shit's always going to be here in one way or another.
How much news does your mom watch? Because I think my mom watches a good amount of news.
Way too much.
Yeah, she's watching a lot of news. And then it's like whatever she's watching is, you know, it's not turned off in her brain. Like she's just like, I'm just so mad about Trump, like that.
Yeah. No, it's a dangerous thing.
But I respect it too, because I'm like, oh, I get it. You know, I maybe not. No, I do kind of respect it because I'm like, I couldn't do that. Like I couldn't watch that much news.
I get it, but at what point do you have to like really? I love the fact that my mother is well informed. You know, she's a person. But I'm like, you can't allow it to make you feel like this all the time.
Right,
Then it
right.
wins. That shit
Oh,
wins.
Totally. And that's how I feel when my mom's so mad.
Yeah, and I think my mother has mentioned she's like big on immigrant issues or
Sure.
whatever, and I think she's come to grips with the fact that, oh, you know what, maybe to exercise, you know, my frustration is you act on it, whether you are you're an interpreter for the immigrants because she's bilingual, she's great.
Yeah, that's huge.
Or I think just contributing in a way, some way or another, it just helps alleviate the stress. 'Cause now
Absolutely.
you're fighting the fight rather
Right.
than allowing their words or their action just to allow you to harbor
Yes.
their weight, their bullshit.
Right. And feel helpless. Because my mom used to always go,
Exactly.
she always used to go back and forth between here and Guatemala. She used to do a weaving exchange. So she's a weaver. She'd bring her weavings over, and then women would give her their weavings. She'd come back and she'd sell them at like fairs and stuff. But she can't do that because of Corona. So maybe that's part of. I hadn't really thought of that, but maybe that's part of why she doesn't feel like she's doing something.
Yeah.
So she's just so like, if you like even bring up something, she's just like, I'm so mad about Trump. Like, this is not good. He's insane. Like, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I think specifically with that, he's given. I think that one of the worst things that he's done is that he's given a voice to people who were kind of like sitting in the.
Oh yeah,
now
yeah.
they're
Like, I
way
shouldn't
more
say that.
blatant.
Yep.
Like
Yep,
they're much
and-
more a little. They're brash about. But you know what? It's good to know how the fuck people feel.
And right away too, because remember when he first got elected at shows, I mean, there would be people. I remember I was at this one club right after he got elected, and this guy was just like, no one was saying anything to him, and then he would just be like, Trump, and we were like, what? And then he said a bunch of shit and got kicked out. But yeah, get him out of there. But it's like he was emboldened.
Have you ever experienced anything weird, like at shows maybe down south or anything like that?
It wasn't in the South where it was. I mean, sometimes I'll get like a vibe. Like if you look at a picture of me, I got very like short hair, but I have never got anything in the South where I felt the strangest was in Vegas. Sometimes I'd be like, I feel like something just feels off. And then the worst heckler was in Vegas. This guy, I was talking about having ADD, and he starts pounding the table. And then I didn't know what was going on. And then he was like, don't talk about people with ADD. And I was like, I was like, I have ADD. And he was like, no, I have ADD. And I was like, all right, I get it. Like, I can tell, you're like freaking out right now, like distracted all over the place. And then he yelled again. And I was like, look, if you got a problem, just put it on a complaint card. Your voice deserves to be heard, but we don't need to do this right now. Which I was like, that was reasonable. And then he fucking lost it. And he jumped up and he gave me the finger. And he goes, I'm going to do something I regret. And security still didn't come get him. And so I was like,
God.
And then he walked out. But security still didn't go get him. Because it wasn't comedy club security. It was like the restaurant security. It was
God.
There's a comedian named Louis Katz. So if you haven't seen Louis Katz, he's like short little guy, right?
Yeah.
I'm doing the show with him.
Very nice guy.
Funny, nice guy. He walks me back to the elevator. But if the comedy of it is him and I are both couldn't have done nothing.
Yeah, you guys are both like the same height, same stature.
Fucked. Yeah. And then when he dropped me the elevator, he's like, oh, now I got to go back to the elevator where I'm at. I was like, oh. But we would have been screwed. But Vegas, and every now and then I'll feel something where I'm like, I just feel like people are looking at me a little funny. But then there's other times where I'll feel like it's a pro. And the best case is if it's nothing. And then sometimes I'll feel like, oh, people are looking at me funny, but maybe they aren't. Maybe I'm just thinking they are, and I don't know.
Yeah.
But I do get in my head about it.
Yeah. That's interesting. I think
Yeah.
Vegas is a dirtbag.
Really
dirtbag
tough.
town. So Vegas is super dirtbag.
It's dirtbag, but it's beautiful. Like, I love
It
the
is beautiful.
weather. And, you know, it's like, it's just, there's like really good food. See, that's a place I'm happy that I wasn't drinking when I was there. Like, it's really inexpensive. You can get you can do like, I did infrared sauna. I did a float tank.
Oh,
ever
you
heard of
took
those?
advantage. You were like well behaved.
Well behaved. And it's a float tank in Vegas, it's like $30. Normally anything in New York like that's so expensive. So you can take advantage of all this health and wellness they have there. But then the shows at night were, for me, rough.
You're getting an older, very conservative audience, right?
Oh,
Is that what it is?
Yeah, big time. And I've done
Casino
shows
crowd, maybe?
yeah. And I've done shows that have gone well, but these were sometime when they didn't go well, I mean, I said on stage, I felt like a dead porpoise is on top of me because I was talking about their energy, and they didn't. I'm like, you know what? I feel like a dead porpoise is on top, and they're like, what? But it made so much sense to me at the time. And normally I don't complain on stage. Normally off stage I deal with it. I'm not someone who's like, you guys suck. Never.
Yeah.
You don't get that. I wouldn't say that. In just my head, I'd be like, suck.
It's always funny to see like a comedian, just like a vet, just lose their shit.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's amazing.
What's his name?
Yes, Gary Goldman.
I've seen Joe Matarese.
Oh, I'd love to see
Broadway
that.
Comedy Club, who I think is hilarious. I think
he's funny.
Comic. But you know, the audience, for whatever reason, maybe they didn't speak English at Broadway.
Yeah, something.
He just turned his back to them.
Woo!
And then stand up like this. You guys are giving me shit? And then he went behind the curtain and he did the whole step. Yeah. And I just found that to be hilarious, weird, but also like, yeah, you fucking grabbed that shit by the horn.
Yeah, you let him know. Have you seen Gary Goldman lose it before?
No, but I've heard.
Oh, it's so. First of all, he's such a nice guy.
I have one time. But you go ahead.
I've seen it twice, and one of the times it was this woman. This table wouldn't shut up, and when he started losing it, he was like, he starts bringing up. He's like, brought up like Dane Cook. He's like, I should have gotten on MySpace. Like, what the fuck is this? And then he just like went into the woman, and it was so therapeutic to see because he's so like articulate, and he let himself get that mad. Whereas like I couldn't have pulled that off, and he like dealt with it and did his thing. But the juxtaposition between how nice he is, and then this woman didn't even stand a chance. He's really tall. He's like pointing at her, like it was something to behold.
Yeah, I witnessed the same thing.
Yeah.
Pretty much the same scenario. Woman talking at the table, and he was not having it. He was like, I forgot what his words were, but he leaned in. Like, bang. And he's a big guy.
Yeah.
He's smart, but he's also very fucking funny. Like, I get it, you know? Like, you've been doing this a long time. Have some respect. And I think that I'm not like that. I will handle those things. Don't get to me as much. Like, if someone's talking, sometimes I'm like, yo, you need to shut the fuck up. But I don't become obsessed.
Right. You got to focus on someone else.
Yeah. I mean, some of these guys is like, nah, they don't let up.
Right. Yeah. That woman would have been annihilated.
Yeah. I remember being thoroughly entertained by it.
Yes.
You know, I mean, these are guys who've been doing it 3 times as long as us too, right? Maybe they're just like done with this shit. I've seen Godfrey. Godfrey's one of my fucking favorites.
Oh.
Who pumps out content like Godfrey? He's on live like at 4:00 in the morning.
Yep.
And being funny. Like I'll wake up and I'll take like my fucking midnight piss. Yeah. I'll just go on. I'm like, this guy's like, and these motherfuckers are not funny. I'm like, who's this?
He's still on.
He's still on.
He's still on. He's electric too.
He's electric. That dude is special, man. Like he is so funny. He could do voices. Yep. Impersonations. He's smart. You could say he's a well-read person.
Seriously.
He's animated.
Using words. He knows about like science and geography and all kinds of like international politics. You're like, and in a way that's not condescending. It's like very like
no.
Like he talks about it like everyone knows about this, right? So you don't feel like stupid. You know.
And they're all throwing like, because you ain't shit, dog.
Right. Exactly.
It's like got a little bit of like pepper with some hood element that's very like barbershop talk. You know? So it's fucking awesome. I really enjoy him. But yeah, I've seen him at the Cellar late show. He usually closes it out.
Yep.
And this shit might have been they might have gotten that shit on YouTube, but it was a group of Indian guys. And the guy's like, oh, he looked like DMX.
Oh, no.
And he was like, dogs, who the fuck are you talking to?
Right.
He's like, yo, he said, you Indian guys are the fucking worst. He said, you know why you guys talk out of pocket? Because you guys don't get no pussy. He said, last time you heard a woman say, I want to fuck the shit out that Indian dude. Not never. Yo, killing. And they were like this. And
oops.
And the thing is, like, I'm sharing this because it was the most fucking hilarious thing I've ever witnessed. And then when I saw it on video, like I saw like a clip of it, like I was just so fucking like, oh, and the people, they like cry laughing.
And he deserved it. The Indian guy said something,
like,
said something racist, did all that.
Oh no, yeah. This is funny shit. This is
Right.
stand-up comedy.
Warranted.
Totally. Yeah, like you come up, oh, you know, you look like DMX, like you look like the black rapper you know of on the top
Right.
during that time. Like fuck
Right.
you. And so the way he handled it was so fucking funny. And then so he goes back into his set. Like he's doing way long time.
Right.
20 minutes. He goes back around to the Indian guys.
Wow. Right.
I admire people who have that. We talk about that gusto, like that, you know.
Yes.
Like I kind of would have probably said something and then moved on, and if they would have shut up, I would have been happy enough with that. But it's kind of like, no, this is my stage. I do what I want. It's kind of like it's
and late at night too. Like when you do that late at night, because if it's that late at night, I'm kind of like
this. I would have been like, all right.
Right.
Have a good night, guys. I would have been out.
Right. People always say they'd be like, okay, like Godfrey, he's gonna take a minute. He was always pretty nice to me with that. Like if the second I would start walking towards the stage, he would wrap it up. And I never like pass on any other host, but I was like, if you actually walk towards the stage, he'll wrap it up, and he would do it. But this is like, we're talking late at night to have that amount of energy where you're like, man, he is still bringing it. Even
so this guy probably goes to
he's got a good diet.
5, 6 in the morning.
Right.
Obviously finds the time to work out. He looks great.
Right. Yeah.
Well rested. Like the dude is special.
I agree. I totally agree. Because I can't, Sergio saw me the other day where I stayed up all night watching YouTube videos, and then I had the pudding, like I told you guys about, and I was fucking struggling.
Yeah.
I feel like with him, he would have been okay.
When I saw you the other day, it's funny because we haven't trained in a long time. Like your hair, you look like a chick that just hatched out of the egg.
Right,
You're like waddling over.
Yep, 100%. Like I had a bad
"Am
pudding.
You okay? You like. I didn't sleep.
Yeah. Things aren't good. And that was off of one night. I was fucked up for like days after that.
Yeah.
But it's inspiring. I mean, and also everyone's built differently. So if we can't do that at 1 a.m., then that's okay. We got other talents.
Yeah, for real.
You know?
Yeah, there's a couple of night owls like that. Like I need to be at bed at a certain time.
Me too.
And I crash. I get moody.
Yep.
Like this
me
is
too.
me peeking out.
Yep.
Yeah, but like at 8 p.m. I'm like this.
Me too, especially because of Corona. Especially now because I've been going to bed at like 9 p.m. every night.
Yeah.
So now when I'm out at night, I'm feeling, that was probably part of it too. My whole like routine of bedtime got wiggled around.
Yeah. It's funny, man. And as far as training, you have been working out. You've been doing your thing.
So I stopped for like 4 or 5 months. Then when I got back to LA, I started again. I started taking these weightlifting, like exercise classes, and I started doing kickboxing training like once a week. But this is only for about a month. But I was picturing, I get back here, I'd be in really good shape. But it's like I'm always in about the same amount of shape. I'm always in the amount of shape where I always have to catch my breath. And I'm in whatever shape I'm in. No, there was one time you and I were working out all the time. I was in great shape. Yeah. There was one summer.
What do you think is the main difference? The eating, maybe? I think the eating is 80%. Because I work out
the eating's
all the
80%.
time, and I never have a 6-pack. It's always like a 4-pack. If I was to take a picture without my shirt, it would have to be at 6 o'clock in the morning.
You have also that some of it could be biological too. You know what I mean?
If I didn't work out, I would be a super dirtbag.
But you never been fat before?
I like at 10, but I would be one of those dudes. I would have the body of like a French Montana, like a rapper that just drinks a lot of like champagne.
Yep. Totally.
Ecstasy every other day.
Oof. I wouldn't even last. I mean, now I just couldn't do it. I would implode too quick. But I've been big before, so I'm always like, I don't want to go back to being like chubby.
Yeah.
Because it's the worst feeling. For me, that was a bad feeling.
Yeah. That's fun. I found it funny that you told me that we're always constantly looking for inspiration. And when you told me you were being trained by your sister, how was that, being trained by a family member?
Okay, so it was really interesting.
My wife would never let me train her. My sister, like, she would train me, but it's never like consistent. I'm always wondering how that works out.
I can see why your wife wouldn't, because that I could probably see. Like probably the closer you are to the person, the weirder the tougher that would be. Or also she probably would maybe want to impress you or something like that. My sister, she had just finished her training and she was like wanting to get practice. And where it was weird was I could tell that in the beginning she was working it out because she would always ask, she'd be like, does this work for you? Like, what do you want to do next? Like, she was really coming to me to lead it. And I was like, oh, it's like with comedy, like us, like getting our like footing, finding our confidence. So then when I worked out with her a little bit more, she would then be like, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to do this. But I could see that forming. And then
that's interesting.
It was interesting because in the very first couple sessions, and then afterwards she'd be like, did this work? Did that work? Like, was that okay? And I was like, oh, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Like, you tell me. Like, I don't know what these. And she kept saying in the beginning, she was like, oh, we did this exercise last week, so I'll make sure. I don't mean to. And I was like, look, I'm out of shape. I can't feel my fucking limbs. If we did this, I have no idea what we did last week. All I know is I'm in pain. So don't worry about mixing it up that much. I don't know what. But it was good for our relationship because we're not that close. So it was like a built-in time for us to see each other.
Totally different, right?
We're so different. So this was like, we wouldn't normally be interacting a couple times a week. There was one week I worked out with her two times, even then it's like a built-in time to see each other, which is nice.
Yeah.
Which is nice. Yeah. But it's nicer doing it in person. So if I'm in a city where
was she a hard ass on you? Like if you weren't getting through a rep, or she's like, come on, Emma. Like
she wasn't about that, but she would be about like scheduling and planning. Like she would be like, she was pretty like, she'd be like, if I would text her avails, she'd be like, no, you got to use the online form. And I'm like, all right.
Okay. You missed a session. Did you ever miss a session?
I missed one session. I did miss one session. She was fine with that. I mean, I was definitely getting charged for it. She wasn't like cutting me any like corners with that. That wasn't even a question. I wasn't even, and my mom said Wi-Fi problems, and my sister's like, "Wow, you got to get that figured out." But you're getting charged. So
Mom, you're getting charged.
You're getting charged. This is how I reserved that hour. So actually, she's 45 minutes.
I just picture her with glasses. Doesn't wear glasses, but got glasses bigger than her.
Yep. Yep. She is type A and on it. So we're totally different. Opposite.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is wild. Like, and you guys are like, it's not like half. You guys are
100% full. We're only 19 months apart. And we look similar too, but she's very thin. She's got long hair. So we look a lot alike.
Yeah.
Except we're totally different too. I've tried writing jokes about her, but it's always like tricky for me to write about. Yeah. I don't know why that is, because I can write about my mom.
A joke about my sister, and she was in the. I said, what the fuck did I say? So I'm like virtually, and people make fun of me all the time because I have no hair on my legs.
See, that to me would be nice.
Gym, what was that?
That to me would be nice. Like, that's nice.
But I'm a dude, right?
Right.
People are like, they're like, yo, do you shave your legs? I'm like, nah. I'm like, yo, it looks like you got prosthetic legs.
Maybe I do, from fucking beating people up.
Yeah, like my calf muscles are mad smooth. My sister, like they're smooth. I'm like, you're gonna have to touch my calf.
I'll check them out. I'll give a touch.
Like they're silky.
That's nice.
Yeah, and like my sister got all the hair, like a little wolf.
Fuck.
Yeah, like laser surgery. Like
that is frustrating for her.
Yo, so I said I made her. She was horrified. Like I first started doing stand up, I was like, "Yeah, my sister got bigger beard than me." I was like, "Whatever it was, it was rough." And she was like,
"Right." Also, because you're new too, so you probably didn't have it all like worked out with the way you would finesse it now.
Making fun of her.
Right? You wouldn't know. You'd be like, "Oh, my sister's ugly," and they'd be like, "What?"
My sister's mad hairy. She stay hairy all day, every day.
Right, and then you're like, "Get it?" And then it takes the more nuanced somebody needs to be, the more time you need to have under your belt to be able to figure that out. Like you could make fun of her now probably, and you'd be able to do it in a way where it's not just mean.
Yeah. Would you find that your sister or your parents ever got worked up over some shit you said about them?
One time, my mom and it was when I did that Access TV. I had a joke about something that she said, and before I submitted it, I said, "Can I say this on the show?" She's like, "Yeah." So the night before I was about to record, I was like, just remember I'm saying this and it involves her calling my dad an asshole. And she goes, "Oh, well, maybe don't say that part."
Oh, God.
And I was like, "No, you already said that I could." And she was like, "Wow." And I was like, you said that I could. Then she's like, "Well, he is an asshole. Okay, fine, say it." But she was like, "Who's going to see it?" And I was like, "Well, this is going to be on like a cable TV show." And I don't think she realized that like probably a lot of people would be seeing it. So she did try to backtrack on that, but I still did it and it was fine. And my dad didn't care. She didn't get, but I remember she was like kind of trying to pull the plug on that. But with my sister, I feel like there's probably a few things if I talked about would make her upset. So I'll try not to. I've gotten in trouble for saying, when I first started doing podcasting, like saying stuff about like dating or a relationship. And then the girl would always say, oh, I don't listen to the show, but then they would, and then I would get in trouble. So now I keep it very respectful. And if it's something that I wouldn't say to their face, I try to not do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you can get in trouble.
Yeah, man. Like, there's a lot of shit floating around.
A lot of shit floating around. Yeah.
And when you say something, like after the podcast, after the show is over,
right.
like you look at yourself in the mirror like that.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah.
You like mouth it without the word. Like you mouth it.
Yeah.
You don't say it out loud. You're like,
yeah. Did I say bitch? Yeah. Oh, shit. I did. I had it one time where this person I was dating, she was like, I really liked her, and then in person I'd be like, no, I want to keep it casual because I knew that's what she wanted, and then she was like, really? And I was like, yeah. And then she like played a podcast where I was like, I love her, I want to get married, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, fuck. I was like, well, I didn't know you listened. She's like, well, you're lying about what you're saying. And I was like,
that's my alter ego right there.
Yeah. I was like, I'm putting on a show. That's what it is. And then after that,
funny.
I was like, I gotta stop doing that.
That's hilarious.
Gotta stop.
Emma, I really do appreciate your time. You're the
of
bomb
course.
boogie,
Thank you
man.
so much. I appreciate it.
I want you to plug in what you got going on. You got Emma's Bunker.
Yeah,
and
Emma's
Ramon
Bunker and
Mateo Lane.
inside the closet. Then I'm on Instagram. And you know what I just started doing?
What's that?
I made a video blog.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm gonna do another one, but
No,
I
you
did
gotta
it.
keep on pumping those
Yeah,
out.
I gotta keep pumping it out. But that to me was really fun. I mean, it's just like a stupid but it was just fun to do. And then I edited it. So if you're on YouTube, type in Emma Willmann, and my little video blog pops up.
Dope.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate
Emma,
it.
you're the bomb. I'll see you
Thank
next week
Sergio.
for some
I'll see you
training.
next week. Sounds great. I'll bring my trash bag.
I'll see you later. Thank
Thanks,
you.
buddy. Of course.
All right, bye.
Bye.